Live! Hi everyone! Crazy hands, crazy hands. Welcome to another episode of Moms, the number 4 Trans Kids podcast. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. I am a pediatrician and a mom of a trans kid and an all-round agitator of the governor of Georgia. Welcome. I have my co-mama beast with me today, Kim. Hey, Kim.
Hey, hi, how are you?
I'm doing
So
good,
good to
Kimmy.
see
Oh
you.
my God. We need to talk, sis. We need to talk.
It sounds like it. It sounds
About
like it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Kimmy, Mama Beast, co-host, I guess you could say. Um, I'm proud mom of two kids that never cease to amaze me. Just when you think you know them, they keep throwing you for a loop. So my youngest is 17. We're still kind of on the journey of kind of discovering who we are, but um, also trans mask, non-binary. My oldest is 22 and transgender. Both of them came out around 11 or 12. So kind of been on this ride with all, with them, their friends, um, you name it, their colleagues. They all kind of come along for the ride. So
Okay.
it's me.
So we are here. Usually we have one guest, one mom, one ally. But today we are joined by 3 people, as you can see. For those of you who are watching us live on Instagram, hey. Y'all go follow my guest, and she's going to introduce herself and her sibling. And then I want to introduce really quickly my assistant. So those of you who have been following me for years, I've been crying to God to please send me an assistant. I said I wanted a black queer woman. I said I know what she looks like. I don't know her, but when I see her, I'm gonna know. And so I want to introduce Ariel King, aka Storm, who goes by she, they pronouns. She is like a godsend. Ariel, take it away. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Tell the people who you are and why you decided to say yes to work with me, because you barely knew me.
Hi guys, I'm Ariel. I chose to work with you because I seen you present at the symposium. You were very inspiring, and I love your energy. It makes me be more fearless, more confident, and more firm in everything that I stand for and everything that I say. So I'm greatly appreciative to be in this role, and I can't wait to mix and mingle with everyone.
Yes.
Oh, welcome.
Oh, so I can see she's
Thank you.
mellow. She definitely balances my energy. And we're going to do big things together. That's all I have to say. I wanted her to come. She really
Yes.
was not supposed to come. I just kind of put her on the spot. So I said, you can come and then you can leave once you introduce yourself. Oh, just because y'all need to know who's at the back, who's going to be doing the stuff in the back. So I don't have to do all that anymore. This is so good. But that's what they look like. And other than that, we're going to just kind of jump into our guest today. So, Cassie, tell the people, how did we meet?
Oh my gosh, it was a magical evening at Behavioral Health Tech's annual conference. It was at the maternal wellness dinner. We were sitting at the same table, and of course, our table, all of us were just like immediately chatting about our experiences with behavioral health. The moms were sharing their experience being moms. I was sharing my own experience of friends. And then we got to talking about Dr. Lulu, her amazing story. And then I shared about my experience having a trans brother, which is one of the biggest inspirations. He is one of the biggest inspirations to what I do every day. And one of the bravest people I know. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm Cassie. It's nice to meet everyone. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a cis, straight Jewish woman in my mid 30s. So I'm still figuring out a lot of stuff. But I'm very grateful to be here. I'm proud to also serve on the board of OutCare Health. We connect LGBTQ plus folks to affirming healthcare providers across the country. And then I also work for Valera Health. We're a virtual mental health clinic in several states. And yeah, so excited to also be here with my other brother to share his experience too. So Gabe, I'll let you introduce yourself now.
And before Gabe goes, first of all, I want to say thank you for even coming because we literally met in October, or was it November?
I know, November.
I don't know. So that's how long, when I tell people that we are booked into February of 2024, they think I'm kidding. You booked this appointment in November. And so for you to still come and want to share, I'm like literally, the honor is mine. And for those of you on LinkedIn, I misspoke when I said, we're going to have the trans brother. I did not realize it was not the trans brother coming. So Dave, just in case all the people want to check you out, they're like, oh, it's trans. No, that was not, that was my mistake. I did not realize that. So, but Gabe, take it away.
You're all good. If, this is a classic Cassie move, so don't worry about it. I also didn't know I was going to need to give a little spiel, but I'm Gabe. I'm here in St. Louis. I am Cassie's brother and Jamie's brother. Jamie's our trans brother. He joined the family. He's our stepbrother. So I think it was like 07 or 08 is when he came in. And, Cassie and I accepted him as one of our own almost immediately. When he did come out to us, we were fully supportive and proud of him and made sure to make it feel like a seamless transition for him. Other things about me, I'm a youth group director. My favorite color is purple, and I'm a Gemini.
Oh my God, Gemini! Oh my goodness. Y'all just finished having your Gemini thing like recently, right? Because Gemini, yeah. Because my eldest is Gemini, May 29th, and Lord have mercy. That's all I have to say. But yeah, welcome. We have never had siblings. We've had couples, we've had mother and child. We've just never had siblings. So I was so excited that y'all said yes. So I want to ask Ariel if she wants to stay because the show is about to begin. Because when we begin, Ariel, you're going to have to stay through the entire thing. And you're welcome to leave if you want to, but I just wanted to put that out there. However,
okay, well, I'll leave, but I forgot to say anything about me. I'm a Capricorn, and I am a housing locator as well as outreach coordinator and executive assistant. That's it.
Nice to
meet everyone.
Yes, everyone is busy. I thought I had a long rap sheet until I met Cassie. Cassie's like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. And then on top of everything, Cassie makes jewelry. I mean, it's like, what? So beautiful. All right, Ariel, we'll let you go. Thank you so much. But so the show is actually going to begin now. We usually on this show, one of the things that we say all the time is that we don't give a fuck. We truly do not. So if you don't like cussing, you're on the wrong show. Just go ahead and just stay and listen anyway, because Kim will come for you if she can. But really quickly, I'm so happy, Gabe, that you said that, when your sibling came in, you said almost immediately. This is one of the things we talk about all the time, that the next generations, I think millennials and Gen Zers, y'all just kind of jump in. So I'm going to let Kim talk to y'all because I want to check what's happening on Instagram and I'll come right back. So Kim, take it away.
So I just have a question, I guess. Like, can you explain to us how the family kind of came together? Like, how old were you when you came together? And then how old were you all when, I guess the information started to kind of get out and everybody get on board?
So Gabe, do you want to take the first part of the question and I'll take the second part? Just because my memory is really bad. So I don't quite remember the age that we were.
Ish, give or take, like, grade, were you in
Cassie,
high school?
You give your spiel and I'll give my spiel. It's all good.
Okay. This is Gabe, and this is our first podcast we've done together, so bear with us.
We're signing up for 7 more, though. I'm very excited.
So our parents got divorced when I was in middle school, I believe, or beginning of high school. And a lot of that that's a whole nother podcast. But Sophia, our stepmom, and our mama, she was my matron of honor. She is a beautiful person, and so is her son. They came into our lives shortly after, probably 2.5, 3 years after that. My dad was a single dad in that meantime. So we were very excited to have a maternal, figure around the house as we were living with our dad full time. And at that point, we had a sister. And so it was a different experience of, at that point, I think for me, there's like a 10-year age difference. So there's a 10-year age difference with me and Jamie. And then with Gabe and I, there's a 6-year difference. So it's quite a difference from my perspective, and I'm sure from his as well. And then it's so hard, and I don't know the right way to speak about how Jamie was when Jamie was Katie, because I feel like Jamie was always Katie, or Katie was always Jamie.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to really speak about it. So just want to explain that and ask for patience and forgiveness if I misspeak or anything like that.
And you can always just say, transition.
But not only that, I think you hit the nail on the head. And that's one of the things that I spoke to a kid on the phone last week. And I said to the child, you've never, ever been Asia. You've always been the new name, right? You've never been that other child. And so what you said actually is correct. But the beauty of this show is, as much as possible, we try to tell our own story and not the person's story. Because like you said, we don't know the person's story. But I can tell you all day about my story and how my child's story kind of intertwines with mine, but always from my perspective. So if that helps any, you might want to try from your own perspective, just period, because that's the one you can talk about anyway.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I was very excited to have a sister. Obviously, I had a wonderful little brother, my beautiful baby brother. Or once he was born. So I was very excited to have a sister. I took her shopping. We got manicures, pedicures, all the girly things. And then I went to college and of course left. Well, not of course left, but I left for college.
She left.
And then ended up, what?
Nothing. Keep going.
And then I moved to, I'm not the best storyteller either, but I moved to Kansas City about 10 years ago after college, and then stayed there up until a couple months ago. But during that time, I met my husband. We got married 6 years ago. And in the wedding, Jamie hadn't transitioned yet. And so they were my junior bridesmaid. And so personally, I do a lot of reflecting on that. And luckily is the wrong word, but we ended up doing another photo shoot. So Jamie was able to wear a suit in those photos because not everyone could be at my wedding that day. So I am glad that we do have memories of that. But maybe that's just another excuse for us to throw a really big anniversary or like that.
Oh, hey, you know what? I ain't even mad at you.
A groomsman, but yeah, that's my kind of chopped up version, and I'm sure I'll remember things throughout this conversation.
Yeah, I was curious of the age, the age of accepting and and really just kind of going with it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Our whole family, Jamie came out at, sorry to interrupt you, but Jamie came out at Rosh Hashanah after I got married in June. Jamie came out in September, and at my Bobby and Zav's house. They are conservative, Jewish, wonderful grandparents. And He could have said he wanted to be a potato. We're like, okay, can you pass the?
Yeah, I'd like to jump in and share
Yes,
the
Gabe,
story
please. I
of
can't
how
wait.
this happened, because I tell everyone about how my brother came out.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
I love that, Gabe. I love that.
So Rosh Hashanah, it's the Jewish New Year. A lot of families will get together. They'll host a lot of people. And so often, as the grandkids as we are, we'd either go there early or stay late to help set up or clean up. So Jamie or Katie at this moment was on the setup crew. And so she at the time and our stepmom were there setting up, blah, 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 blah. And our grandmother, or Bobby, asks Katie, Katie, will you go downstairs and help your grandfather with the chairs? And Katie says, I want you to call me Jamie. It was very out of nowhere, very abrupt. And my stepmom, who I guess knew about it, was like, are you sure? Like, this is when you want to do it? And he's like, yeah. And so my grandma, my Bobby, looks at him and says, okay, Jamie, would you please go downstairs and help your grandfather with the chairs? And so it was an instant, an instant acceptance. We just, we wanted him to be happy and healthy, and that's all my family really cares about. And on top of all of that, I remember he was in trouble for something at home that week. And that night, our dad was talking to him and said, just because you're Jamie now doesn't mean you're not still in trouble for whatever Katie did last week.
I love it. Oh, yes.
David
David is the storyteller. Yes.
So
Yeah.
What
was
an
a seamless-
instantaneous, if I've ever seen one. Kimmy, have we seen anyone that was this instant? I think Dawn was kind of sort of instant, but this is beyond instant. I love
That's
it.
that's ripping off the Band-Aid and just slapping iodine on it. I mean,
Yes.
it's like, it's done.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And Cassie, I don't know if you knew this or not, because I know you're at college
Right.
or / Kansas City, but Jamie, before coming out for like a year and a half, was like wearing boys' clothes and like seeing a therapist and seeing, I think, a psychiatrist about this transition. So it wasn't like I wasn't like surprised, I guess, but it was more of a, if this was the path he wanted to take with this transition, then I was going to support him. Everyone does it differently. I've got several trans friends that have all made different kinds of decisions about themselves.
Yeah. Well, I also want to mention too that he is also neurodivergent. And so from my perspective too, and I'm so glad Gabe's here too, because he was at home and has a much different perspective than I did. But being so removed and then coming back once he came out, Katie was very quiet. When Katie was first, like when I used to take Katie shopping, pre-transition, Jamie shopping, pre-transition.
Yeah.
They were bubbly, smiley. And then as they grew up, they got quieter, a little more to themselves, introverted, still wonderful and kind and calm. But once they came out, it was like a light bulb switched. I mean, they didn't become this like super extroverted person like, Gabe and I are, but
Would you say it's a confidence? It's more of a confidence.
Yes,
Or
it is.
mature.
honestly,
talked
it
more
is.
and you could just tell that they felt more like themselves. And
Yes. And that is one of the big things that almost every mom that we've ever had on this show, every dad, every sibling, well, not another, I don't think we've had maybe one dad, but maybe no dads, I don't know. But everyone we've ever had who's a parent has said the same thing. I said the same thing. Kimmy said the same thing. I mean, of course, the personality is still the same-ish, but the energy of the personality is different, if that makes any sense. The person is full-blown, like in full bloom, You know, I mean, that to me is what I think. And that's why I say to the parents, if you're going to eventually come out and say, okay, I'm accepting my new identity, because as you know, that's what I say. The parent has to accept themselves. So if you're going to do it, just do it already. If you're going to do it anyway, because it makes a difference in the suffering, the duration of suffering, if you want to call it suffering, for the child, for you, for everyone who is like, if you're eventually going to do it, just do it now, and then you can already lean into the next phase, which is what I want to talk about, because I really feel like this is such a beautiful conversation, because I see that, Cassie, you definitely almost miss Katie, but you don't want to say that, in a sense, because of the way you are delivering it. But it almost feels like Gabe is like, I got a brother. What? I mean, am I off?
No, I'm the favorite daughter now.
No,
Yeah, well,
you've always been.
But when Cassie was saying like she was so excited to have a sister, I was the opposite. I was
Yes.
I was like, why? Like, so I tried to do stuff with him that like would be like a brother. Like we would roughhouse, and I would teach him how to play video games and all this stuff. Like I
like video games, and I played video games with Gabe. I still like video games.
Yeah.
So get that twisted.
Regardless, whatever. Jamie just he got upgraded. I mean, you said the full bloom.
Upgraded.
I love that. I'm so stealing it. Yes.
You get upgraded. And then I joined. There might be something to that, but I joined a sorority in college, and I have so many sisters now. So I feel like
There you go.
I didn't.
Yeah, but I like the way obviously this is everyone. I love like everyone's experience is different. One of the things, as I say, is when a child is transitioning, the entire family is transitioning. One of the things that came up from my youngest child was like, Mom, you never talk about us, and that made me switch my mindset. And truly, I never used to talk about the sibling. I just always thought it was me. But truly, the sibling journey is legit. Is huge, because it was my middle child that quote unquote outed their eldest as non-binary to begin with. So the sibling journey is valid. So I love that we're getting two sides of the sibling journey here. I'm just so happy to hear that. Yes.
Thank you. Well, and I want to make sure too that we touch on, I want to share how it impacted my life personally.
Yes, that's what we want.
Before that, what you were saying about having the suffering be less, I just hope, because for Jamie, his experience was not the same from the other side. So, his other side of the family, not including our stepmom/mom, which it is better now. But that hurts my heart, just knowing like the word suffering and equivocating that to his experience. So yeah, I thank you for sharing that sentiment, because it's something that I'll continue to share too.
I remember that was what we connected on. I don't know if you remember this, but we connected on that. And you actually got teary-eyed. I think you cried. When you were telling me about this. I mean, obviously we didn't use the word suffering then, but I know now that it is suffering. It's suffering on the parents' part. It's suffering on the child's part. But regardless, I remember you specifically, Cassie. We connected because you said that. You said, while this side of the family is, oh my goodness, let's just keep going. The other side of the family, not so much, and that affected. That's why you're here today, because I connected with that. I said, yeah, I know. And I just wish we didn't have that, and hopefully if anybody hears this, they will know that truly, you can lean into the beauty, the curiosity, the oh my goodness of it. And you nailed it when you said their personality changed. Now they own it. Like, it's like they're like a beast at it, like, come and just show me what you got kind of thing. And that confidence is what we're looking for, because the other side could possibly end up in unliving yourself. So it's like, Hello. I am so happy that Gabe gave his own perspective because Gabe, excuse me, gave his own perspective because I do want to come back to that in a minute. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to say the show is called Moms, the number 4 Trans Kids podcast. We are on every platform where you listen to podcasts or you get your fix for podcasts, but Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you name it. And we want you to please share the podcast, tell people about it because we are truly sharing stories and real life experiences because that's the best way we connect. That said, I have a book coming out. It's called it's not Moms, it's called About Your Trans Child. Where that book at? It's called About Your Black Trans Child. So I want y'all to please find me on Instagram, find me on social media, send me a DM so I can send you the link to, because I don't know all the words, to sign up for the pre-order because we want to have like a big release party so everyone can learn as much as you can from the stories that I've heard that I've kind of compiled together because it's going to be happening, I think, in July. Oh my God. Phew. Okay, I said that. I said that. So we're back. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm here with Cassie and Gabe and of course Kimmy, my trusted sidekick over here. And we are talking about just familying trans kids and familying transgender humans and what that is like for everyone else and not the trans person. And this is why I just love today's episode. And Melissa says, yay, congrats on the book. Thank you so much, Mel. Melissa is our favorite every week, always here, diehard fan. So Melissa, thank you so much. And Gabe, I do want to talk about this upgraded. I really want to. I love that word. Kimmy, what do you think about the word upgraded? Like what?
Hey, we got 2 different perspectives, and in reality, you both win. I mean, you both win. It sounds like, you've got an amazing brother, whether you like it or not. And I think it's beautiful. And all of those experiences that you had prior to the transition don't go away. Isn't that amazing? You still have all of those great memories of sharing the shopping experience and things like that, to take with you. So, I mean, I think you both win. So congrats. And I love your dynamic. I love you guys. Like,
I love it. Yes. And I don't
ribbon on each other because I appreciate that with my siblings as well.
Yeah. But I also don't think the shopping experience has ended. You know what I mean? Like, I think they can still go shopping. Never. Go shopping. 1. Number 2, I love that your dad said, just because you're now Jamie doesn't mean you're no longer in trouble. Like that is a quintessential affirmation. And that's because for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I kind of like cracked the code yesterday is what I said with my little reel. I said I cracked the code because for years and for months and for weeks, I've been trying to figure out how do we separate accepting from affirming. I've been trying to find a way to explain it because of this book. I needed to find the words, and finally it came to me yesterday. And so, Melissa says something really cool. Says they don't go away, and then you also make new ones. So true, Melissa. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so what I figured out was because I actually Googled the difference between accepting and affirming, and I could not find it. It didn't do it for me. But yesterday it occurred to me because I had a conversation with a gentleman 2 nights ago. And I told him about the patient that I had seen in the clinic and how the kid is bisexual and struggling with that journey, and how I just held space for him. And at the end of the day, I asked him, he said he wanted to see me next week. And I was like, well, why did you decide to say that you've had this doctor forever? And he said, because I saw your pin. And then I said, and then I opened up my arms and he hugged and all that. But the point is, what the gentleman said to me was, I'm so glad the child had you to do that. And at that moment, I felt affirmed. And so I realized affirmation is the feeling that your child gets. Mm-hmm. You don't go saying, let me go affirm my child. No, but the actions, the words, the balloons, all the things, is what makes the child feel that they are affirmed. Versus acceptance, which is you that has to accept yourself and this new situation, and then your actions of validation will now make the person feel affirmed. So the affirmation is the feeling for the queer person. And I was just like, oh my God. And so I sent it to like 50 of my trans people. They're like, I never even thought about it that way. My trans people, they're like, oh my God, this is exactly right. Anyway, I just wanted to say that your family definitely is an affirming family, because the child feels upgraded. I mean, like, you know, they feel
Upgraded.
I don't know, but anyway, I just wanted to say that before I forget. But yeah, so go ahead, Gabe. Tell us a little bit more about how would you describe this upgraded? What all is in the ingredients that we call upgraded? How would you describe that? Because I want other siblings to hear from a sibling.
For sure. So what goes into being upgraded? That's a great question. The way I look at it is what Jamie does and how he acts after he came out. One thing I really focus on is his social skills. You know, Cassie mentioned he's neurodivergent. He's shy. We've talked a lot about his social skills, and something that I've really worked on with him is just talking to people. I would often invite him out with my friends. I'd bring him out into social settings, and over time, you know, he would get more and more comfortable. And it was very quick that he went from like a -2 out of 10 on the social scale up to like a 4 or 5 out of 10. And like that's a huge jump for someone who would rather talk to the wall than talk to a person. And, you know, the last time him and I hung out with some of my friends, he was giving shit to one of them. Like, I was so proud of my brother. Like, that's what he should be doing. He's 20, is he 22 or 23? Like, that's what a 22-year-old guy does. And so that makes me really happy to see, you know, he stepped outside his comfort zone at work a little bit, interacting with people too. It was the really like defining upgrade was in that social aspect. But I have another friend who lives out in LA that is trans, and him and I talked about this upgrading notion like 2 or 3 years ago. And almost it's like it's like another way to just like you've gone to the gym for the last year and you've built this new identity that you feel really confident and really good in. And that's the kind of person I want to be around. I would much rather be around a happy trans person than a miserable cis person. And I'd want to support that person to transition if that's going to make them better and more fun to be around.
Are you building? I like love everything you said, but are you building a personality? Are you coming home to that personality? Are you coming home to who you are? And then that's the reason that you're so comfortable. I just think it's like, it's wild to me. And that's why he's so brave, because, and why I'm so inspired by the LGBTQ plus community as a whole.
I love everything I just heard. Yeah. Kimmy, do you remember we had Jake on the show. Jake had an amazing quote that actually made it to my book. Jake said, Jake is not trans. Jake is just a good old-fashioned, happy-go-lucky gay person. Mm-hmm. But Jake said, as gay people, queer people, whatever, you don't only bring the person you love home, you also bring your whole self home. I remember that. That was so profound. That was like the last thing before the end of the show when I said, okay, so your last few words or whatever. Jake said, just remember that as a queer person, you don't only bring the person, as a gay person or whatever, something, you don't only bring the person you love home, you also bring your whole self home. And that's what you just said now, Cassie. Bringing your whole self home and just feeling at home wherever you are. And that's kind of similar to what Gabe is saying about a new identity, about going to the gym and just becoming this whole new person, this whole new world out there to go and conquer. I don't know. I love it. Confident, comfortable. These are the words that you're mentioning. Social skills. And I know we've mentioned this on the show before that 70 to 80% of people who are neurodivergent are also gender divergent, if you want to use that word, or gender diverse. So I love that we're seeing this a lot. Like, this is not just numbers. This is actually like people who my kid has said, Mom, I definitely think I'm definitely neurodivergent. And so it's interesting to see this just kind of playing out all the time. And so I want parents really to understand that, just lean into the newness and the funness of it. And I don't know. What do you think, Kimmy? Your face is very serious.
I was just thinking, I was trying to keep my thoughts straight, but the examples that both Gabe and Cassie have been giving us, that if you want to know what affirmation looks like, they just gave us all some really good examples. I mean, the fact that you're helping them get out into social environments to practice those social skills and encouraging them along the way, and creating experiences that they can gain that, new world experience of being exactly who they are and who they've always been. I mean, it's beautiful that you've created scenarios for them to succeed in. And I think that's super special.
That is affirmation. That's
what affirming looks like.
Yes.
And honestly, I think I've talked to enough people that have been, gender diverse, and they really don't care if you accept them. I'm just saying, they don't care, but they would like your affirmation. And that affirmation looks a whole lot like what you guys got going on. So there's more than acceptance. There's affirmation, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny you said that. Acceptance, affirmation both begin with the letter A. And I was trying to finish this chapter on parent allyship, and I came up with, I think, 8 words that begin with the letter A. And I was like, wait,
so
what?
Does action, and that's what I always say.
Yes. That was action.
Action.
That was action. So we're going to play a game. So I'm going to say acceptance, advocacy, allyship. Okay, Kimmy, you go. And then we'll have Gabe and Cassie take a chance and see if we can come up with more words. I like action.
GPT and get some ideas.
I know, right? I'm gonna just type it in. I'll just say, type it in. Look at the answers.
But I think
No,
action
but you
is
got
cool.
it.
Action is a good. Yes, action is a good word.
Yeah.
And for me, what about Gabe? Do you have any letter A words?
Affirmative. No. Let's see. I mean, that's
amazing.
Amazing.
I like apples. Amazing.
Amazing is good. Apples is good.
Abundance.
Oh, abundance. Yeah.
Abundance of joy. Yes, abundance. I also like activism, because I see myself as an activist. And while everybody doesn't have to be an activist, but I think for me, the progression is self-acceptance, then affirmation, then advocacy, then allyship, activism. They're all kind of like a spectrum, because that's what it takes. Like what you all are doing now, you are basically affirming. All of those words come under affirmation.
Ooh, what about any?
Well, any
Any what?
Any what?
It could be any, like
Anyone?
anything, like
Any
Any
who?
food.
anyhow, any like.
How about amp up? Like, let's get hyped about a firm.
Yes, I like amp up.
Yeah.
I like amp up. But anyway, obviously, I didn't want to put you all on the spot. But usually, when I do the game, it's an A, B, C, D, where we go all the way to the letter Z. But I am just really, really excited. I want to ask y'all the next question, which is what my youngest had done one time that made me say, this is a real process for him. So my SUV, I have an LGBT flag, a little flag on top of the dash. And when I'm driving the car, the flag is on there. And one day I went to school to switch cars with him, and then the flag wasn't on there. And I was like, wait, dude, where's my flag? He said, Mom, I don't know. I just don't, this is Texas. I just don't want, I mean, so I realized, yes, my way of showing support for my kid is not always going to be the same way. And just because the flag is not there doesn't mean the child doesn't support their sibling. But I wanted to say to y'all, what kind of adjustment did you have to make when it comes to your friends and with regards to affirming your sibling? It doesn't mean that you don't affirm them, but what, if any, adjustments did you have to make? Maybe with your husband in the case of Cassie, and maybe with your friends in the case of Gabe.
Gabe, do you want to go? Or
I mean, I'm trying to think.
I can go while you think.
Okay, sure, you go.
Do you want to go?
No, I was just gonna say, for the most part, like, I personally didn't have to make that many adjustments. You know, I've worked a couple jobs where I've had to do like safe space trainings, and we learned about like the process that trans people will go through, and like the people they'll lose out on, and you know, will allies lose out. And I was really surprised when I was learning it, because the people I surrounded myself, for the most part, you know, they were indifferent about someone transitioning. You know, it was like, oh, like, that's cool. Like, don't be a dick. Like, and that was pretty much the qualification for me wanting to stay in your life. And that goes pretty much across the board for the people I associate myself with. Is if you're respectful, it doesn't really matter the rest of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I have a similar, well, not similar, but there weren't many adjustments that we had to make. And then as far as my husband and his side of the family goes, they were equally accepting. I would say the only funny part of it is that my husband has a sister named Jamie. So now we have a brother Jamie and a sister Jamie. So that was probably the biggest adjustment on my end, and having to, you know, specify which Jamie we're talking about.
I love that. And I think what I want to say is, at this point, I think I can boldly assert that the word indifference, I have a tiny little bit of issue with, just because for a Black trans person, indifference for them may actually be traumatizing or traumatic, because most Black trans people don't have anything at all. But then again, on the flip side, I think they would rather have indifference than hate. So I just wanted to mention that I like that, because generally they just get hate. So I'm saying, while they would rather not you not have indifference, you have like love, because I think that's the opposite of it. I think I checked it up a long time ago. The opposite of love is indifference. So the Black trans child, which is my kid, aka my kid, would rather have indifference than hatred, but I can see how they would prefer love. Does that make sense? I mean, are y'all getting what I'm saying?
I think the language I'm using, I don't even know if this is the word, civility, you know, being civil.
Yes. Because you said respect. I know
that's more along the lines of what I meant by indifferent. It's more that, you know, if someone transitions, it's, you know, regardless of the opinion, the person's always going to be civil to them. That is not an adjustment that myself or anyone else I associate myself with has really had to go past.
And that's what your dad said. You know, I don't care if you're Jamie, you're still in trouble. Like, it's like, let's keep moving, which is just such a beautiful example. I just really, really like, I think I'm going to make a whole post about that if I remember. Just the fact that the trans person nobody really wants to be obviously like, oh, there's a trans person. So now let's do things differently. They just want to blend and just, you know.
They just want to blend in.
Yeah, they want to blend.
Yeah, any like chance that we get like at dinner or anything like that to say bro, or I'll always say bro, or like what, like what's up bro, or what, like if I can help buy him some, like, you know, cool,
boost that confidence. Yeah,
you know, anything like that. Share any resources, of course, like particular to what I do for work or whatnot. And I know Gabe is the ultimate big brother. So
yes, Gabe is the man.
Gabe is the man for sure.
I'll take that.
We are in our last quarter, believe it or not. I'm just going to take a quick peek. Okay, we have a bunch of people watching on Instagram, but no one is asking us. If y'all have any questions, we have the siblings here today. Maybe we'll have to invite y'all back on, you know, in the future, because this is just so cool that you all just kind of fell right in. And it's everything to me. And you're right, Gabe. While it would appear to us receiving the story today that it fell right in, it did take, you know, time. And maybe we want to talk about that in the last few minutes that we have. Kimmy, do you have any comments?
Not yet. So Melissa saying, taking my son to buy his first suit was a monumental day. I
Mazel
I
tov.
remember my oldest first suit, and it was for homecoming. First freshman year of high school, and it was a monumental occasion. And of course, I was the crazy mom with the pictures and the
Oh, that's
stand
amazing.
here pose like that. But yes, it's definitely a monumental day. And I like the fact that Jamie was included in pictures in a couple different photography
Yes.
sessions for your wedding as well. I think that's wonderful.
I treasure those. Oh, you should have seen me. My wedding day was an amazing day. We had so much fun. But my grandmother fell down the stairs a week before, so she couldn't make it. So I already knew that we would be doing more photos, and so I had to sign a waiver with my photographer that day, basically saying we can just fly through the family photos. I'm like, none of these, not that none of them matter, but we're going to do have more photos be done later. And so it really worked out, because by the time that my grandmother was recovered and able to participate in a photo shoot, Jamie had come out and had gotten his first suit too. So
That is amazing. That's so great for both Jamie and Grandma.
And
Yeah.
grandma, yes.
Yeah.
And for the record, we have had a couple of conversations about pictures, and we've always said, ask the child. Some children, want you to leave the pictures. Some children don't want you to leave the pictures. Some young adults, whatever, just ask the child. And just, I think at the end of the day, they always say, just don't make a big deal of it. I think really, truly, if I was going to say one thing, is that just like Gabe said, just don't make a big deal of it. Like truly,
Yeah.
it's like, no, here's Jamie, my trans brother. No, here's Jamie, my brother.
right.
Just
Yeah.
keep going. So before we leave, I want y'all to tell us, where can people find you, follow you, your work? I love that both of you are actually in the healing space. Who wants to go first?
Gabe.
All right, Gabe, little brother Gabe.
Little brother Gabe. You can find me. Good questions. I've got Facebook. I'm a millennial. Gabe Raskin. Thanks for asking. That's I'm at Instagram. I'm pretty sure. You can find me on Venmo at Gabe.
Yes!
R.A. There's a picture of my cat Harold as the profile picture. Send me some love. I'll make sure it goes towards a good cause.
Yes, you know what? If you can type it in, I will. If you can type it in your comments, I'll
Sure.
highlight it. Yes, I love it. All of your handles, and Melissa thinks it's really funny. Oh my God, that's I think that's the first time. You know what?
Too funny.
Okay,
Too
hint,
funny.
hint. I'm about to drop my cash app.
I know. I'm like, hang on.
Let's go.
Wait.
What about you, Cassie? Where can the people meet you and find you and follow you and all the things?
Yeah, so I Gabe on Facebook too. Although Gabe, I'm pretty sure you're barely a millennial. Aren't you
I was born in 96. I'm on the cusp. Let me have this.
Let you have your moments, yes.
Okay.
I
My
remember
eldest was born in 98 and swears that, Mom, I'm a millennial. Nobody wants to be a Gen Z.
No one wants to be Gen Z. Sorry, Gen Zs.
Sorry, Gen Zs. More sorry, Gen Alphas. Oh my God.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm a youth group director. I work with teens. It's
Mhm.
quite the journey.
It was a hard job, that's for sure.
What do you do? What do you do, Gabe? Cassie, before you go forward, Gabe, what do you do with the teenagers?
So I'm the regional director for BBYO in St. Louis. It's a Jewish youth org that's around the world. And so my job is to help the teens develop leadership, build friendships, and really create a name in the community and have a positive Jewish experience in high school.
Have you heard about Camp Jenny?
I have not.
Okay, very good. I wrote it down so I don't forget. Camp Jenny is a Jewish-run camp in the Georgia mountains at the wine country. I was the physician there volunteering Memorial Day weekend. I would love you and I to get together so I can give you that information, because they would love you. They will eat you up. It's a bunch of Jewish teens and coordinators and all the things. And they have this camp for 3 days over Memorial Day weekend for the low income Black kids of Atlanta, something like that. But it is just so beautiful, and everyone is just so, I mean, this is just so good. So if you remember, if you can find me on social, I would. Oh, Melissa said they've heard of it. Oh wow! I don't know. Is it Camp Jenny, Melly, or is it Gabe's camp?
I think
Let
it's
us know which one.
Camp Jenny, which I Googled it, and I know of like the organization that runs it. So I'm familiar with that. But yeah, like hook me up. I'm down
Yes.
down for some Camp Jenny action if I can make it work.
Yes, I'm so excited. You see, this is collaboration in action.
Yes.
All right.
Connections.
What about? I really want to know. So that's Gabe's.
I think
Thanks,
that's Instagram.
I thought you were joking. Oh my god!
It's up there.
I thought you were
It's
joking.
just there.
Let's see. Do I? I don't use Instagram much, but I've got it. That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Nancy, do you want to write yours down so I can also highlight
Oh,
it?
sure. Yeah. So I'm on Instagram too. Gabe, are we gonna go splitsies on any of the Venmos you get? We bought
Definitely.
lottery tickets last night, and Gabe really wanted to go splitsies if we won big.
And she said no, so we didn't win big.
Oh.
Yeah, right. That's why.
That's one.
Sibling library is just so fun. What about you, Cassie? Where can the people
Yeah.
find you?
So I'm Positively Cass on Instagram, and I'm also on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, she's a link.
You told me you were not on LinkedIn, and I didn't tag you. I was going to tag you.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I'm on LinkedIn just like for connecting. I connect people to mental health resources, so
Mhm.
it's a really great place to like connect with like organizations and
Is that correct?
yes.
Okay, very good. So y'all go find Gabe's Venmo, Gabe-Ra, first and foremost, and then Gabe's IG is Thanks for asking. I thought it was joking, Lord.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
Man, I want to spend a day in your brain. That would be just so cool. And then, of course, Cassie is at Positively Cass. But before we let y'all go, we have about 8 minutes on the clock. Do y'all want to share just a going away message, something upbeat, something fun, or whatever about, this whole conversation about really talking to other siblings? Because we've had parents in our Facebook group who have told us that, well, while they're supportive, the sibling is not, and all the combinations. So what would y'all say if you had a few minutes to talk about, just to kind of pour into other siblings out there?
Cassie, after you.
Okay, Cassie, you're it.
So I would want to say to other siblings, stay curious and stay connected. That's pretty much it. You're not alone, no matter what your experience is, and just stay curious. I think anyone in the family can have that same sentiment, but siblings especially, it's hard enough growing up and then trying to be a good sibling and then having something like that happen. And I don't even like saying that happen, experiencing something like that. Yeah, just stay open, stay curious, and I'm always happy to connect too. So if anyone wants to share their story too, I'm happy to help and listen.
Okay, super. All right, Gabe, take us home. I almost want you to go after me and Kim because I feel like you're going to say something really
Oh,
different.
isn't he? He's just like, he should have his own podcast. I feel like.
Right. Where's your podcast, Gabe?
I can
Gabe,
go
you
last.
need to have your own podcast. It's going to be such a fun podcast.
Let's go first and see how Gabe takes us out.
Yes, let's go first.
Wait,
All right, Kim, go, and then I'll go, and then we'll let Gabe take it home.
All right. I just want to talk about just one thing that just happened to me over the weekend. And I was just thinking about, why has it taken me this long to hire a professional organizer? Hear me out. So my sister and I, hear me out. my sister and I have helped my mom struggle through organizing and cleaning and accumulating stuff for years. We've helped siblings. We've had to help each other, help mom, right? And then when it comes time for us, sometimes, siblings don't have time. I hired it out. But then when you think about the cost of hiring it out versus what I would have paid out of pocket for therapy, I got way more out of the work getting done and the peace of mind that I got. I'm just saying, like, hire it for your other sibling, hire it for your mom, hire it for, I never knew the mental relief that it can bring a parent. So that's why I wanted to bring it up for here, but also, to take some heat off each other for siblings. If you can't be there, there is people that can help, even just basic tasks. Like I just needed somebody to do the muscle. I could make all the decisions and help sort through things, but the muscle, hire what you need, because it does give you peace of mind, and it's better than therapy.
Yeah.
So take care of each other.
Yeah. So delegate the fuck out of it.
Delegate.
Mm-hmm. So it is Pride Month. We have one more weekend left for Pride, and I know I'm traveling next weekend. I should be back on time. Kim and I have a huge surprise for y'all next weekend. Make sure you watch the show. My name is Dr. Lulu. I'm a gender and sexuality life coach. I do help you with your journey to becoming supercharged? What was the word that we had today? Upgraded, okay?
Upgrade.
Supercharged, confident, comfortable in your skin. I had a post on social media that I'm happy that it got a lot of comments, because I was talking to a therapist. So I want to talk about that. I was talking to a therapist about the work that I do, and he just happened to we met online, and we had our first phone call, and I was already traumatized at the end of the phone call. Why? Because he kept dead naming and misgendering nonstop the entire time trans women. So what my advice, or going away, whatever, is for y'all, if you would know in here if someone is not the right person. Don't hesitate, don't prolong the suffering, pull the plug, cancel, don't go back, because it's very delicate. I'm not even trans, and I was so traumatized that this morning I was still shaking. I had to do a whole 3-hour walk just to get a little bit healed from this human being that was talking to me on the phone, the amount of hate that was coming through. So we have a lot more work to do, needless to say. And someone actually suggested that I find him, and I did. And maybe take a phone call to the authority, to the the board, because people like this should not be out there being therapists for our kids and our family members. He could not stop talking about men and their privates. He just could not. So I said, wait, why is you so preoccupied with somebody else's privates? There's more to this, Anyway, let's say,
I got a creep factor going.
Yeah. So like I said, I was really, so this message is for parents specifically. If your child tells you, Mom, I don't know that doctor, or I don't know that therapist, don't ask them to explain, just believe them, because there's something about the interaction with the therapist that made the child say that. So on that note, stay tuned. I'm going to be looking for 5 of y'all to proofread my book. Possibly the announcement will be coming this week. I don't know. But other than that, listen to the podcast, share it, and I'm going to hand the mic over to Gabe to take us out, because Gabe is about to become a frequent co-host. We don't know. We'll see.
Oh, dang. That would pays better than my side gig. I guess just to wrap everything.
No pressure.
No pressure. Under pressure. I guess this one goes out for all the people who either have a trans family member or know someone that has a trans family member that either are super supportive or are struggling to be supportive, or wherever you fall on that wavelength. At the end of the day, the most important part about the person is their character. Like, are they kind? Are they honest? Focus on those qualities on whether or not you're going to support someone. If you have a kind, honest, respectful sister, and they come to you one day and say, hey, like, I'm a boy, like, great, like, should be the same, you know, maybe different clothes today, but for the most part, as long as they're the same person on the inside, like, you know, not much has changed. And I think if more people looked at it like that, we'd have a lot more happy people out there. So be kind, have fun, and we'll catch you next time.
Okay, bye y'all. Thank you so much. That was so good. Oh my God.